कल्याणे निरतं समस्तजगतः कारुण्यमूर्तिं प्रभुं धर्मज्ञानसुकर्मभक्तिसुरभि प्रोत्फुल्लनीलाम्बुजम् एवं यस्य कृपाप्रसादकरिदं चेतप्रशान्तं मम तं वन्दे क्षितिभूषणं यतिवरं श्रीचिन्मयं सद्गुरुम् प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। With hearty best wishes to all of you this morning of Guru Purnima, we begin the 99th class on Bhagavad Geetā online. We have been studying Sri Krishna's teachings, which have a wide range of topics pertinent to our inner growth and culminating in our emancipation, liberation. The ego gets mellowed, our antakarana gets purified, we become more duty conscious, our efficiency, effectiveness, our being a good human, all these get better by sincere study and self-application of Bhagavad Gita. And this Chitta Shuddhi, this walking on the path of Dharma with increased understanding and effectiveness is sure to lead us to a point where that pure intellect, informed by the ultimate intelligence, helps us see that the individuality in us is a myth. The one who loses or gains is just a shadow. We, in reality, are the pure self. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita, at the end of every chapter, is described as Brahma Vidya as well as Yoga Shastra. Most of us are primarily learning the Yoga Shastra towards becoming better human beings. And here and there, we do deeply appreciate Brahma Vidya. As our fitness, spiritual fitness increases, we will be primarily students of Brahma Vidya. And of course, we will be walking the path of Dharma more and more effortlessly at that stage. The present context is of some 14 yajnas. And as Adi Shankara would remark, which we shall see in this class, the whole purpose from a higher point of view is to show that Samyak Darshana is the best of all yajnas. And Adi Shankara especially is emphatic about it because at his time he had to face karma kandis, those who were very attached to karma. With due respect to Vedika karma and a number of other teachings of the Vedas, Adi Shankara wanted to make it clear to them that right seeing, where duality breaks down, where the non-dual pure consciousness alone is perceived as the truth, is the ultimate teaching of the Vedas. They are called the Vedanta, very much a part of the Vedas. And what is more, the Karmakandis should not imagine that this Samyak Darshana, this Brahmajnana, is something utterly different, utterly in a different box And especially they should not imagine that it is opposed to karma. In a certain sense, we do say it is opposed to karma. That is, karma has duality, Brahma Vidya has no duality. Karma has kartrutva, Brahma Vidya has no kartrutva, and such things. But Adi Shankara would say that it is not opposed to karma in the sense it is one has to look down at karma or ignore one's duties, etc. On the contrary, it is through nishkama karma. Do your rituals without seeking anything personally, without egoistic expectations. If you do your duties in modern times, you and I have secular duties, a few religious duties. If we do our duties, the mind becomes pure, and as the culmination, and of course, a certain transcendence, a leap into the unknown takes place, Brahma Vidya dawns. So, to sum up this introduction, Adi Shankara is going to say that placing right seeing as the second of the 14 yajnas is deliberate. Those who are attached to yajnas should appreciate Samyak Darshana also as another yajna. They should not think that it is of some other camp. No, 1,000 dualistic yajnas, when performed with purer and purer mind, lead us to the non-dual yajna. In all other yajnas, the division between one who does and what one gets, etc., remains. In the Samyak Darshana Yajna, as brought out by the 24th verse, and then as brought out again in the second half of the 25th verse, Brahmarpanam Brahma Havihi, and so on. We find that the performer herself or himself dissolves into the fire of Samyak Darshan. Therefore, it stands apart in that sense. So, Shankaracharya wants them to own this, not disown Brahma Vidya. Brahma Vidya is not to be looked at as not ours. We have nothing to do with it. Rather, all the karmis, all the upasakas should know that Brahma Vidya is where we are headed towards. Brahma Vidya, Samyak Darshana is our own destination. Presently, we are crossing miles after miles through thousands of karma and upasana, and as we get highly purified, we actually will reach Brahma Vidya. Therefore, the confusion that we are karmakandis and we have nothing to do with Brahma Jnana should be removed. So with this, let's go back to the 30th verse, which we covered, but to quickly recapitulate and then move ahead. Apare niyata haraha pranan praneshu juhvati sarve pyete yajna vido yajna kshapita kalmashah. Then there are the kind of yajna kartas. This is the 14th and the last yajna being described. They control their food intake, the quality of food, and in the process, they offer pranan praneshu. Various energies get reorganized in them. A simple explanation for this is how our whole system, body, mind, senses, pranas, etc., are a certain dynamism of energies. And pranayama is an excellent way of tackling energies. You need integrated approach. If you do a lot of pranayama but do not take right food, how will you expect to have energy? And if you are very careful about your diet, but do not do yoga, asana, pranayama, or a daily walk, etc., how will you? And as we saw in another Upanishad class, Chandogya Upanishad says the water you drink is connected to prana. So if some of us don't drink enough water, otherwise we are taking nutritious food and doing many good things, but we are not taking adequate water, then energies will be weak, will be poor. Pranan praneshu juhvati. So this is a general description of how every yajna for that matter leads to a reorganization of our inner energies. Apare niyatahara pranan praneshu juhvati sarve api ete yajna vidaha. How wonderful is Sri Krishna's outlook. He endorses, encourages, and accepts, accommodates all kinds of spiritual practices. That is how in the last century, Sri Ramana Maharshi accepted and endorsed a number of spiritual practices, saying, do this, do it properly. It will all bring you to who am I inquiry. Highly inclusive, highly accommodative sage he was. So let's see. Yajna Vidaha, all of them are knowers of yajnas. Nobody is to be put down, and they are people who have driven away or thrown away their inner impurities by practice of yajna. Yajna kshapita kalmashaha. Kshapita, Shankaracharya says, means nashita. Their kalmashas are nashita. So, recently there was a question answer with Swami Sarvapriyananda, who is so well known these days, the representative or the Acharya at New York Ramakrishna Mission or Vedanta Society, as they call it in the United States. In that question and answer, somebody says, I have a lot of impurities in my mind. Negativities, that was the word used. How do I get rid of negativities? Bhagavad Geetā says, any of these yajnas, yajna kshapita kalmasha. Kalmasha means negativity. You don't want to be jealous, but you are. You don't want to be short-tempered, but you are. You don't want to be lusty, but you are. You don't want to be lazy, but you are. The list goes. Different people have different negativities primarily and a few more secondarily. What was Sarvapriyanandaji's answer? He is a wonderful representative of the tradition. He, drawing from the spiritual tradition of India, says, look, I will give you a solution. Do japa. Japa. He says, one of the simple ways to get rid of your negativities, no matter what it is to sit down and do japa of a chosen mantra. And it is so true. In olden days, therefore, boys were given Brahmopadesha, Yajnopavita, and then they were asked to do, if not 3 times, they were asked to do twice a day, Pratha Sandhya Vandana and Sayam Sandhya Vandana. from the age of 8 or 10. And what is the idea? Doing this japa, Gayatri japa, Ashtakshari japa, Panchakshari japa, and a couple of other things all packed into a Sandhya Vandana module. If the boy does morning and evening, with even half concentration, a number of his negativities are prevented from growing. Whereas a life that is utterly materialistic, life which is full of wrong attitudes, even the so-called bright student in a materialistic society may be bright, may be sincere in his studies, teachers like him because he is answering all the questions, he comes prepared. If nobody else knows the answer, it is he or she who gets up and answers. So everybody is fond of him or her. But the materialistic society puts into him a big bug which will make him suffer for the rest of his life. What is that? You are bright, you are good at all subjects, you are good in extracurricular activities also. All the teachers love you, adore you, like you. The principal herself praises you. And all this will stand by you. One day you will earn a lot of money. You will have a wonderful big bungalow. You will have a most expensive car. You will be famous in the society. In this way, mere pursuit of I, me, my glory, my riches, my name, my fame, etc. is highlighted. That is the problem with materialism. There's no problem with a big house or a expensive car. But if you have a bug in your head that my worth is connected to the bungalow I have, my self-worth is connected to how popular I am in the town, then you are bound. Bhagavad Geetā, by asking you to do Sandhya Vandana and so on, and there are lines in all our Shastrokta Upasanas, Parameshwara Prityartham. I am doing this so that God be pleased with me. I am doing this to become very rich. No, that is not said. May God be pleased with me. And from early age, if a boy or girl is also advised properly by spiritual teachers, then there is no bug in the head. The person pursues wealth as a means to make Parameshwara happy. I want wealth so that I can serve people. So there's a big attitudinal change. Yajna kshapita kalmasha. Swami Sarvapriyananda's answer, do japa. I must tell you, japa is not to be looked at as just repeating mantra. First of all, 20 minutes you sit down quietly. That itself brings under control certain amount of your unrest. Otherwise, people are just doing whatever they like. They are driven by likes and dislikes. They don't do at all what they dislike. They postpone endlessly. What could have been done in 2 days is not even done in 2 years. And what they like, maybe checking WhatsApp messages again and again, they go on doing 24 hours almost. Whereas japa requires you sit down and those 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the evening, you do not check WhatsApp messages or watch some YouTube video, etc. So you develop a certain ability to hold back from your urges. Urges and impulses are brought under control. In addition, if you know Sandhya Vandana package, it has some pranayama also. Some pranayama, some prayers, some submission to God, some sitting down quietly, sitting erect, and so on. Several ingredients of the Sandhya Vandana you will see This should be taught to all boys, all girls. Everybody should be taught and encouraged to do this upasana, morning and evening. Sandhyopasana, they call it. Sandhya because morning it is as though the night meets the day. Sandhi is coming together, joining. Sayam Sandhya is when the day ends and the night begins. It's the joint, it's the meeting point of day and night. Early morning is the meeting point of previous night and this day. So, Yajna Kshapita Kalmasha. However, Sri Krishna here says, all the 14 yajnas we have talked about destroy our negativities. Japa is an excellent yajna also. Yajnanam japa yajnosmi, says Sri Krishna in the 10th chapter. So let's see Sri Shankaracharya's today's Guru Purnima, and Adi Shankara is the brightest gem, brightest star among the long parampara of gurus. There were gurus before him, no doubt. There have been gurus after him. But he, in the middle of that long parampara, therefore we say Shankaracharya Madhyamam. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. If you are a Vishnu Bhakta, jolly well you may say Narayana Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam. Or if you happen to belong to some tradition where the Mukhya Acharya is someone else, Madhvacharya, Ramanujacharya, or Vallabhacharya. Narayana Samarambham Vallabhacharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. It's a very famous shloka. So Adi Shankara here says this 30th verse where everything is summed up. Pincha apare niyataharaha niyataha parimitaha aharaha. The quantity is regulated. Ramana Maharshi used to say, sattvic food in moderate quantity is one of the most helpful supports, one of the best aids for spiritual practices. Make it sattvic. If you cannot avoid onion and garlic, reduce the quantity of them. If you cannot avoid spices, reduce the quantity of spices. Less spicy and fresh food. The sattvic food. 17th chapter talks about the attributes of sattvic food. But Maharshi was quite smart. Doesn't mean sattvic food you eat quite a lot. Sattvic food in moderate quantity. He was very clear in his guidance. Niyataha parimitaha ahara yesham te janaha niyataharaha. Santaha being so, pranan vayu bhedan praneshu eva juhvati. In the process, this controlled diet leads to reorganization of energies. Among us, there are a lot of people who have all very good intentions, but their day goes on in a rather unproductive manner. When they want to work, they feel tired. And when there is energy, they are tempted to watch some TV show. What is that thing? So that is because the energies in them are like a set of monkeys, not at all properly trained. So pranan praneshu juhvati is a general expression where you bring your energies to a certain order. Actually, if your energies are in order, then with even 1/3 of the energy as you have today, you will be able to do better sadhana. Today you have plenty of energy, but it is misdirected. Like there are some students, I remember when I was in college, every evening, as soon as the classes are over, first they would eat whatever was available in the hostel mess, and then freshening up and wearing some nice dress, they would go to the town also, which was 15, 20 minutes walk, if not more. And there also we do some window shopping. Students don't have much money. Just see what is available in the market and so on and so forth. Misdirected energy. Let them go once a week. Let them go see a movie, eat something outside and come back. But there were some girls and boys, every evening they would go. This is misdirected energy. Whether going out or at your own home. If you spend much time in useless activities, then know that you have energy, but a good part of it goes in useless activities. Paradharma sometimes. Sometimes the work may be good on the surface, but it's not your work. It's not your swadharma. Then also it is misdirected energy. That should suffice. Pranan praneshu juhvati. When your energies get well organized, well directed, then, as I said before, with even one third of the energy that you have, you can achieve much more because everything is directed properly. Te tatra pravishtaha iva bhavantah. There is a nice explanation before that. Yasya yasya vayoho jayah kriyate itaran vayu bhedan tasmin tasmin juhvati. So, even as this is called Bhumi Jaya. Elsewhere, the word used is Bhumi Jaya. So you have a number of issues inside you. Various energies are in disorder, like a bunch of monkeys. They are jumping around. Your impulses and urges are again and again jeopardizing your daily life. Then Bhumi Jaya. Bhumi means level. You rise to a certain level and stabilize there. Don't slip back. Having stabilized yourself on a certain bhumi, on a certain level, win the next level, next, higher, higher, and higher. Yasya yasya vayoho jaya kriyate. So having established on a certain level of energy, you then juhvati, offer some other negative energies also into this, which then empowers you to go to an even higher energy level. Te tatra pravishtaha iva bhavan. So in this model, it is as though you are getting placed on higher levels of consciousness. Sarvepi ete yajna vidaha yajna kshapita kalmashaha yajnaihi yathoktaihi kshapitaha nashitaha destroyed. Kalmashaha yesham. We have talked about negativities being destroyed. Negativities become a closed chapter, a forgotten chapter. You would smile at a certain point of life. You would smile at your past. How foolish I used to be. Oh, how I used to get annoyed and irritated and small things. How silly things would attract me so much that I would lose my control and pursue those silly things, leaving behind important, rewarding opportunities and so on. Looking at your past, you will smile. So, Yajna Kshapita Kalmasha. Now, Sri Krishna wants to praise people who do Yajna. Evam Yatoktan Yajnan Nirvartya. Having performed these Yajnas, where do people go? 31st says, Yajna Shishtamrita Bhujo Yanti Brahma Sanatanam Nayam Lokostya Yajnasya Kutonya Kurusattama. Calling Arjuna Kurusattama. For Kuru was one of the ancestors of both Kauravas and Pandavas. Therefore, though ordinarily the 100 sons of Dhritarashtra are called Kauravas, technically speaking, Pandavas also can be called Kauravas because they are all descendants of Kuru. But somehow, Rudir Niyamat Valiyasi, there is a saying, Rudi, the running practice, is more powerful than Niyama, some technical rules. Rudihi Niyamad Valiyasi. So, but in the Gita, at a couple of places, Sri Krishna calls Arjuna Guru Sattama, somewhere else Bharata Sattama. So Bharata also was a common ancestor to these guys. Yajna Shishta Amrita Bhujaha. When you perform a yajna, any of those 14 kinds mentioned before, what happens is you are left with Amrita. Just as in many yajna and yaga, we hear in Puranic stories, Dasharatha performs the yajna, Putra Kameshti yajna, and Yajna Purusha rises from the flames of the Yajna Agni, and in a gold vessel, Dasharatha is given some payasam, some pudding, which he distributes to Kausalya, Kaikeyi, and Sumitra in a certain ratio. And then these three queens get Rama, Bharata, Lakshmana, and Shatrughna. Likewise, in many yajnas, as payasam or in some other form, something divine, something delicious, something truly uplifting comes. That is Amrita. So, every time it need not be in a vessel, every time it need not be something to be consumed through the mouth, but various uplifting factors. Those who enjoy the uplifting, elevating results, outcomes of yajnas, finally go to Brahma Sanatanam. And those who live in an utterly materialistic manner, me and my, I, me and my, Ayam Lokosti. In this world also they suffer. Ayam Lokaha api tesham na asti, na bhavati. Kutaha anyaha. It's okay if my life here is spoiled, but I will go to heaven, right? Somebody may say. How will you go to heaven? If you have messed up the life here also you suffer, and there also you don't go to truly good realms. Kutaha anyaha is a question. How can they go to higher regions? If in your school days, in your college days, you have lived a very disorderly life, haphazard life, then chances are less that later in your adult life you will turn around. 1 in 100 do, but most of them, in Kannada there is a saying, the young plant could not be bent. Would it be possible to bend it when it becomes a tree? जो पौधा होते हुए झुका नहीं, पेड़ होने के बाद झुकेगा क्या? That is the idea. So generally, exceptions do exist, and Ishvara Kripa, Guru Kripa, Atma Kripa, if somebody realizes, oh my God, I wasted my 42 years in false values. I want to open a new chapter in my life. And somehow, if one finds in oneself the necessary fuel, energy to change the direction of one's journey, yes, one can. But chances are less. So, in this life, as well as in life after the death of this body, the times are going to be bleak. They are not going to be bright. Kutonya, Sri Krishna questions. And Shankara says, Yajna Shishta Amrita Bhujaha, Bhuk is Bhunkte, iti Bhuk. Somebody who eats If you are eating a mango, then we say you are a amra bhuk. Amram, amrafalam, bhunte, or ashnati. Amra bhuk. If you are eating just some regular food, anna bhuk. So, bhojana. So, bhujaha is not the arms. Chaturbhuja can mean 4 arms, right? But bhujaha here is the plural of book. So, yajna shishta amrita bhujaha. Those who eat what is left over after a yajna, they are called yajna shishta amrita bhujaha. Yanti Brahma Sanatanam. Yajnanam Shishtam, Yajna Shishtam. And then there is a Karmadharaya Samasa. Yajna Shishtam cha, Tat Amritam cha. Yajna Shishta Amritam. Tat Bunjate iti. So the grammar is explained. Those who take the nectarine outcome of selfless services, different spiritual practices, they are called Yajna Shishta Amrita Bhujaha. यथोक्तान् यज्ञान् कृत्वा तत्शिष्टेन कालेन यथाविधि चोदितम् अन्नम् अमृताख्यं भुञ्जते. So it is in a regular traditional yajna, there is actually annam, some prasad, which is to be consumed, regular food of the nature of food. And that is also called amrita. Just as we go to a temple, we buy some fruits, offer there. And the priest may keep 1 or 2 at the altar, rest of it he gives. We only brought it, but now it comes from God, we take it as prasad. It is something that has come from God. Yanti, Gachanti, Brahma Sanatanam, Chirantanam. Mumukshavaschet, an insightful comment by Sri Shankara, if they are advanced, they are seekers of liberation, not just outwardly in their words, but in their heart of hearts, they want liberation from egoistic living. Mumukshavaha chet kala atikrama apekshaya iti samarthyad gamyate. Since leaving out Samyak Darshana, the other 13 yajnas do have that duality. These people get high level of mental purity and kala atikrama apekshaya. Eventually, they get liberation. Nayam loka. So Brahma Sanatanam cannot be taken literally as far as those 13 yajnas are concerned. Whereas that Brahma Vidya yajna, that is Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavir, Brahmadno, Brahmanapitam, and that which is also said Yajnam, Yajnena eva upajuhvati in the second half of 25th shloka. They are Samyak Darshana yajna. There it is instant liberation. Those who are able to offer their ego, lock, stock and barrel into the fire of right seeing, where there is no duality. He, she, I, you, me, they, that plurality has vanished. Those who are able to do that get Sadhyo Mukti, otherwise Krama Mukti. Now, na ayam lokaha sarva prani sadharanopi. This loka, this earth, where sarva praninaha, animals and birds, fish and we humans, all of us live. Sarva prani sadharanaha ayam lokaha bhulokaha na asti ayajnasya. Those who live selfishly begin to suffer right here. They may have some external glory. People may be jealous of them. People may envy them. But they are bound to be living restlessly. And in their confusion, in their egoistic arrogance, they keep hurting their own spouses and children and neighbors and partners and whoever. Therefore, ayam lokaha api ayajnasya na asti. And then, yajnanam ekopi yajna yasya nasti. Do one of these 14. You don't have to do 2 or 3 or 4 of them. Ekopi. Shankara says, yatoktanam yajnanam ekopi yajnaha yasya nasti sa ayajna. Ekopi yajnaha yasya syat saha yajnaha. It is also called yajna, one who does yajna. And then what he does is also yajna. Here this is ayajna. Utanyaha vishishta sadhana sadhya. To go to some higher regions, you have to perform some special sadhanas. These are all starting points. You have to do advanced as well as very specially designed programs. Like Putra Kameshti, in an example that applies to the earth itself, is a special program for getting children. There are some havans, some yajnas for rains, for subhiksha, for prosperity, and especially everyone to have good food, good facilities. Today, Sri Lanka is suffering durbiksha, in a way man-made, because of handling the economy in a rather unintelligent way. Today, homes in Sri Lanka, even in the capital of Colombo, are not sure of having cooking gas. How would you cook food then? So even as the president tried to escape, flee the country, and could not, there were some hitches. And then he issued an order from some hideout. People don't know where he is. From that hideout, he issued an order that so many thousands of tons of gas, cooking gas has come, and it has to be immediately distributed. He issued an order. So there were hahakara. Most of you have read the newspapers or watched the news media. You know how thousands of people just get crashed into the presidential palace. The president has run away. Then they barged into the building. Some of them are seen swimming in the swimming pool that belongs to the president and enjoying everything. Highly chaotic. Great, great loss. Very sad. Sri Lanka. So that is what happens in our life too. If we are disorderly. So, Kutonyaha Purushottama. So now let's read the concluding verse. Sri Krishna just says, O Arjuna, evam bahuvidha yajnaha vitataha brahmano mukhe karmajan vidhitan sarvan evam jnatva vimoksyase. Arjuna, don't think that the 14 yajnas I have mentioned are all that there are. There are many more. Evam, in this manner, bahuvidhaha yajnaha brahmanaha mukhe. Brahma here means Veda. Vedasya mukhe. Vedanam mukhe. Or Vedanam antaha. In Vedas, in the Vedic literature, which are all inclusive, which are most comprehensive, vitataha. Literally, vitata means spread. Tanoti. Tati means a rashi. Sometimes in human life we have such sorrows coming one after another, such difficulties. Vipat. Vipat means a hard time. Vipat means adversity. In Guru Paduka Stotra, you have an expression. Vipat tati. A lot of people read it wrongly. Vipat titabhyam. It is vipat tatibhyam. So heaps and heaps of adversity come to us, and Guru Padukas drive those adversities away. That is the context. Bahuvida yajnaha vitataha brahmano mukhe karmajan vidyitan sarvan evam jnatva vimokshase. And not just Adi Shankara, but Sri Krishna himself in the Moola Gita wants the karmakandis to understand that all these yajnas are glorious karmas. We congratulate you on being very devoted to karma, but just drop that idea that karma is all there is to life. Life is much more than karma. Grow even more mature and go to jnana. Otherwise, 13 out of the 14 yajnas are karmajan, born of karma. Evam jnatva vimokshase. You have a good understanding of all this, you will be free of negativities. Evam yatoktaha bahuvidaha bahuprakaaraha yajnaha vitataha vistirnaha. Shankara gives a synonym. Brahmanaha means vedasya dvare. Vedadvarena avagamyamanaha brahmano mukhe vitataha uchyante. They are to be known. Avagati, avagamana, knowing through Vedas. Therefore, Adi Shankara wrote Sadhana Panchakam, Vedo Nityam Adhiyatam, study the Vedas. Tadyatha Vachihi Pranam Juhumaha, Ityadaya. In the Vedas also this Juhoti, Juhvati comes very often. For example, offer your prana into your speech. That is in Aitreya Aranyaka. Karmajan, Kaika Vachika Manasa. Action can be on the plane of the body, on the plane of the speech, and on the plane of thought. Kaika Vachika Manasa, Karmodbhavan Vidyitan Sarvan Anatmajan. But from the highest point of view, the whole thing is Anatma playing with Anatma, Anatma interacting with Anatma. One who does is Anatma, that one gets is Anatma, the Samagri is Anatma, because the Atma is the undivided pure self, which is Akarta, Abhokta, Nitya Muktaha, Nitya Shuddhaha. Nirvyaparo hi Atma. Bhagavad Bhāshya says, the Shuddha Atma is Nirvyapara. There is just no action, no activity. Ataha evam jnatva vimokshase ashtubha. Na madvyaparaha. As your mind gets purer and purer, you may even continue to do yajnas, this karma for some more time, or lokopakara, lokasangraha mevapi, sampashyan kartum arhasi. You may do for a couple of reasons, but inwardly you have certain awakening. You have woken up. Namad vyaparaha ime. These are not actions being done by me. Mad vyaparaha, mama vyaparaha na bhavanti. Then who am I? Nirvyaparaha aham. Udasinaha. I am above them. Asmat samyak darshanat mokshase. Samsara bandhanat mokshase. You will be liberated. Ityarthaha. Thus, the discussion of 14 yajnas comes to a grand finale of putting everything in a broad picture. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.